Hi, we're Richard and Jackie from Early Retirement Wanderlust.
What if we told you there were 5 things that you could do right now to dramatically improve your health and well-being?
For those of you that don't know us, we are Richard and Jackie from Early Retirement Wanderlust. And one of the things that most people when they early retire worry about is perhaps looking after their health and well-being.
There is no quick win or no magic pill that is miraculously going to sort out our overall health and well-being. We firmly believe it is a whole series of micro changes, tiny little habits that you change in your life that then add up to overall health and well-being. And what we want to do in this video is to just go through 5 very quick wins that you can apply to your life right this moment in time over the course of the next week to dramatically improve your overall health. The first and most obvious thing that we can do to improve our physical health and well-being is to just get to be a little bit more active. And it's remarkable how little physical activity you can actually get away with and yet still maintain your health. If we just keep moving that little bit more in our lives, then we are going to improve our physical fitness, we're going to improve our mood, and we're going to improve our cognitive ability. It generally just makes us a better person by moving more.
And one of the ways that we stay active is just getting out into the great outdoors. Just 10 minutes a day, a walk in the fresh open air just lifts the soul. And we also try and do at least 2 or 3 longer hikes a week.
One of the quickest ways we find of just getting a little bit more activity is just to choose a car parking spot a little bit further from where you want to be and do the legwork to get there.
Another way of upping your activity is just to take the stairs wherever possible, whether that be in the great outdoors like this, whether you're in the house and you just do a few extra lifts up and down the stairs, or when you're out and about in the towns, you could take the stairs instead of taking the lift. Another way you could increase your fitness and activity is just to do little workouts in the home. We quite regularly set ourselves challenges when we are not travelling, such as we did the 50-50-50 challenge, where we did 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, 50 air squats. We've done a challenge where we did 100 push-ups a day for a month. We just quite often do things that we can do quick and easily in the home, and it gets our activity up.
You might want to check out our video. I'll put a link above to our Mad March challenge, which uses a little bit more equipment, but you can still do bodyweight exercises in that. And it's a challenge that we are doing to try and increase the amount of strength work that we do, but just simply being in the home.
So our challenge to you, in the next week, could you find 5 to 10 minutes in a day to do some sort of activity that you wouldn't normally do, be it going out for a walk or a little home exercise routine? Hydration is really important. It helps aid your digestion, it helps keep your skin nice and healthy, it helps boost and keep your energy levels high, and it also helps your brain function.
Obviously, one of the easiest ways to aid our hydration is to drink more water. And the common advice is to try and look for 8 glasses a day, which, as long as you're drinking regularly throughout the day, it's a pretty easy one to fit in.
We've definitely found that we have got much better over the last few months of drinking water in the house. We've made a really conscious effort to make sure that we are hydrated. But when we're out and about, we're still not that great. So I have bought a water bottle that I can just loop into my hands and take it out on the walks. And we do take a rucksack with water in it, but it's just remembering to constantly drink when we're out.
One of the things we've been trying to do recently to help our hydration is to eat lots of fruit and vegetables that has a high water content. Obviously a watermelon does, but they're actually a bit of a pain to process. So what we try and do to reduce the friction on that is to prep it all into one bowl, and then we have that bowl in the fridge and we can keep dipping into it, and it just keeps us hydrated throughout the day.
So our challenge to you next week is, can you increase the amount of water that you drink daily to ensure that you are having your 8 glasses?
Good quality sleep is one of the key aspects in enhancing our physical and mental health. It improves our mood, it improves our cognitive ability, and it just generally helps us to recover from the stresses and strains of the day. So it is a key component of keeping ourselves healthy.
Something that we found a lot easier now that we're early retired is getting ourselves into a habit to have a regular bedtime. When we were working, it was a bit harder. We had a lot of work to do at home as teachers, and we had lots of deadlines to meet. But yeah, we do try and go to bed at a similar time most nights so that we are in that habit to get a good night's sleep.
One of the things that we have been trying really hard to improve is the quality of our sleep hygiene. And one of the ways we've done that is to try and limit our screen time. And it's not easy, not particularly when you've got mobile phones always available. And we try and switch off from screens an hour or so before we actually go to bed. One of the people that I listen to a lot, Chris Williamson, says that this one thing in terms of keeping his mobile phone out of his bedroom has transformed his life. Now, I can't really do that because I like to wake up and then use my Calm app for meditation. So the thing that I have tried to be really strong at is when I get into bed, I plug my phone in, I turn it upside down and it goes on the bedside table, and I don't look at it again until it's the morning and it's time to meditate.
And we've definitely found now we've got back into a habit of reading. If we just go to bed, read for half an hour before we try and go to sleep, it tires our eyes, it tires our minds, and we do get a much better quality sleep.
So our challenge to you next week is not necessarily to get more sleep, but to make sure that you try and get as good a quality sleep as possible. We all need different amounts of sleep, so a simple number is not enough. But what are you going to do next week that's going to improve your sleep habit and your sleep hygiene to give you a better quality restful night? Whenever we think about health and well-being, it's hard not to think about nutrition and what we eat. Now, for the purposes of this video, we are going to avoid that because it's a whole video in itself. So we're not going to concern ourselves necessarily with what we eat, but the habits around our eating and how we choose to spend our time eating.
One of the things we can do to eat more mindfully is actually simply sitting at the dining room table and taking the time to enjoy and eat your meal without the disruptions of mobile phones or the TV, just sitting chatting and not rushing to move once you've had your meal.
In terms of digestion, it's really important that we put our bodies in a state of rest and digest. And we're not necessarily going to be doing that if we sat around watching TV or keeping an eye on our phone. And I think one of the things that we really admire about the French culture is that they generally just stop and keep meal times absolutely sacrosanct. And that's one of the things that we are trying to do more of because we know that it's really good for our digestion and our overall health.
One of the hazards of a busy working life is that you're very tempted to just pick up food that you can eat on the go. We were awful at just not sitting it down even. We would just have a sandwich and we'd eat it walking around. Even when we were just wandering around towns and things, we would just be constantly grazing rather than enjoying and savouring what we were eating.
One of the things I've realised about myself is that I've probably been pretty much an impulsive eater, and I've never really listened to my body as to what my body needs. I'm really guilty of going into the snack cupboard too often, just simply through boredom. Whereas now I try to be mindful about the messages that my body's sending me about my hunger, and is it really that I'm hungry or is it just that I'm bored, and I respond to that accordingly.
So our challenge to you this week is to try and have one meal a day where you are taking it all in, you've not got the distractions of TV and the other things around you, just sitting down and enjoying your meal.
So even in early retirement, stress management is really crucial, and I think one of the things that we've learned from our early retirement is that stress doesn't go away, and actually stress to a certain degree is quite good in our lives. It's something that gets us up for the occasion, it's something that makes us do things, and as long as it doesn't waver into that area of chronic stress, then we're doing okay. Whereas when we start thinking about chronic stress, that can be really debilitating and can really affect your overall health and well-being.
One of the ways that we use to alleviate some of the stresses of our days is just to get out into the great outdoors, a bit of sunshine on our face, a bit of talk therapy while we're walking, and just the act of being in the outdoors soon lifts our souls.
One of the best ways to control stress and anxiety, I think, is through deep breathing and also meditation. Now, I had up to a few years ago no idea about this, and I didn't really know where to start, and then I went to a couple of apps in terms of mindfulness. So the app I'm using at the moment is Calm. It's really good because it's a bit of a no-brainer. It teaches you how to meditate, it teaches you how to use breath work, and it's like having a little coach in your pocket. It's not something I dip into all the time, and I do try and routine it. So I think I've said earlier on in the video, one of the things I try and do first thing in the morning is to do my daily meditation, and that's a guided meditation by the app. So it's just a matter of popping the earphones in, listening to the instructions, and really just working on that mindfulness. So our challenge to you for next week in terms of managing your stress is to find 5 to 10 minutes every day where you are going to do something that just relaxes you and you are going to do something just for you.
Hopefully you found a few things in this video that you could take away and you could add into your routines next week that might make that little bit of extra difference to your health and well-being.
Now, we're massive believers. It doesn't need to be wholesale changes. So you don't need to take everything from this video. It is just minor changes, because when we make those minor changes, they all add up and they compound to an overall effect of hopefully improving our health and well-being. But that's it from us this week. We will catch you sometime next week. So have a good week. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.